Thank you very much, Craig and Shelley, and thank all of you for coming out, everybody upstairs, everybody downstairs. It's great to be here. I'm on the big screen. How about that?
You better get used to it.
It is great to be here at the Cable Center, and which, of course, the Siemens have been a big part of here in Denver. So I thank you all for hosting us here today, here at this beautiful facility. It reminds me of a building in a little bit smaller version of the building that the Comcast Center in Philadelphia. That used to be like this. And so far, I haven't been on it, but maybe someday. You never know. Well, thanks so much for coming out. We have had absolutely a wonderful time here in Colorado. The people here have just been so warm, and the crowds have been great, and all over, whether we were down in Teller County or over in El Paso County or up yesterday in Bell County. Now here we are in Denver, and we've had just great enthusiasm and great support. And so I just want to tell them, oh, and by the way, I can't forget the Western Slope. Over in Montrose, we had a super crowd over there. So just thank everybody for their energy and enthusiasm. People ask me all the time, you know, how do we look, so energized and smiling? I said, how can you not? I mean, this is great. I want to introduce a couple of folks who are here with me traveling. We've got the family, the Santorum family on the road, and as many of you know, we had a rough week last weekend with our little girl Bella, who's 3.5, who has some health, some challenges, and she went in the hospital, unfortunately, and we had to jump off the campaign. We not only had to, I wanted to jump off the campaign trail to help get her through it. And I really mean this, thanks to all of your prayers and support. From frankly, it was overwhelming for people. Obviously, a lot of folks you don't know, but people from even the other side of the aisle. Were just really gracious and wonderful and supportive, and it really meant the world to us. She went in about as rough as she's been in a long time, and we were concerned that this was going to be a very, very tough go, and she turned around faster than she's ever turned around from any illness that she's had, and I just have to say, the doctor did a good job, but all of you out here thinking and praying for Bella really meant the world to us. So just from us, from our family, and all of you, thank you so much for everything you did for her. Her biggest brother and sister are with me here in Denver tonight, and I just wanted to introduce them. They're over there. Point them over there. Elizabeth and John. Family Fair. We started this morning in Minneapolis, then went to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and gave a speech on healthcare. And then here in Denver, we've been over at the Colorado, up in Golden, at the Colorado School of Mines, and talking about energy. And tomorrow we'll be down in the Springs, and then back to Minneapolis, and then on to St. Louis. And so we've got a busy couple of days here. But there are 3 primary contests tomorrow, 2 caucuses and a primary that are, well, the first time we've had multiple elections on one day. We've had 5 of them, 5 states, and we're going to have 3 tomorrow. So this is a big day, and this is we've got Colorado and Minnesota, which are caucuses, and the state of Missouri is a primary. And this is going to be a big day for us to see whether all the work that we put in the past few weeks, where we've not really paid as much attention to Nevada and Florida, we've been coming and campaigning here and in other states, as to whether that investment's going to pay off. And at least from the early polls that we're seeing over the last few days, we're feeling very comfortable that as folks have continued to look at this race and look at the candidate who gives us the best chance to beat Barack Obama. Woo! And polled all of the candidates, the Rasmussen polled all the candidates against Barack Obama. And they had Congressman Paul down by double digits, Speaker Gingrich down by 8 or 9, Governor Romney down by 3 or 4, and they had us up 1. So we're very glad. one of the things I've heard throughout the course of this campaign. I heard in Florida. Florida was very interesting. We did a little campaigning down there until we had our health challenge, and then did a little campaign the last 4 or 5 days. But what I heard there a lot, and what I heard frankly a lot of the other states, but more so in Florida, was we really like it, but we're not sure you can win the election in the fall. And you know, we had a 68 or 70% positive rating in the state of Florida, higher than anybody else. And yet folks didn't vote for us because they weren't convinced that we had the ability to beat President Obama. And that's their first priority. And I would just say that not only objectively now, if you look at the polls, we poll as well, if not better than anybody else against President Obama. But I would just say that if you look at this race now, as it's beginning to shake out, there's 3 candidates in 1 state so far, 3 that have a decent chance to be the nominee of this party. And if you want to look at who stacks up best against this president, some have suggested, well, we need the guy with the money. You know, the guy who's got the money in the organization. And he certainly has done a good job raising money, Governor Romney has in this primary. And he's been out there and used that money in Florida to 5-to-1 advantage to run pretty much negative ads the whole time, taking down Speaker Deaver as he did there, and tried in other states with me, and running negative ads against us. But at the end, if you think about it, in the fall, whoever the Republican nominee is, they're not going to have the money to be able to outspend Barack Obama 5-to-1. We're going to have to, at best, we can hope for an even playing field, at best. But remember, President Obama doesn't have to spend 1 penny he's raising the primary. He can spend it all in the general election. And plus the money, additional money he can raise for the general election. So what we're talking about here is whoever the Republican is, just because we have to run a Republican primary and he doesn't, is going to have a huge competitive disadvantage on money. So electing the guy that has the most money in the primary, but doesn't have the best record to go up against President Obama, is not a very sound strategy. If you're Republicans who are looking at who has the best chance of winning. If you have to look at the records of the candidates, because ultimately that's what this election is going to be about. It's not going to be about having the most money. It's certainly not going to be about having national media on our side. It's going to be who has the best record, who's out there, who's exciting the Republican base, drawing the clear contrast with President Obama. Election in 2010 because Republicans, conservatives, and independents were outraged at the explosion of government. Well, how about that person? You're doing sound effects now. I didn't realize that. At the explosion of government, at government taking and grabbing your freedoms and trying to pass cap and trade and successfully passing Obamacare and this big stimulus package and all the way to passing Dodd-Frank. And the Tea Party rose up. God bless them. And Republicans were energized, just like the Democrats were in 2008, because they had a candidate that spoke their language, that had a strong, consistent track record. We had that in Republican candidates in 2010. We were able to sweep the House and almost take over the United States Senate. If we're going to keep that energy alive, energy is key in a presidential election. You have to have your base excited, not only to get your turnout up, but what I've found in looking at presidential elections in the past is the candidates that have the most energy and enthusiasm and groundswell of support are the candidates that tend to do very well among independent voters. Why? Well, you're an independent voter. You're not someone who necessarily is stuck in one camp or the other. You're not particularly ideologically driven. You vote for the person. Well, what kind of person are you most likely to vote for? Someone who is boring, who even their own supporters are excited about? Or a leader who can excite people, who can rally the people? You have an opportunity here in Colorado. You have an opportunity to reset this race. It's pretty amazing because I know when I talk to folks from other states other than Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, people sort of complain about Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. Because by the time South Carolina's over, the race is over. Folks, it's not over. It's just beginning, depending on what you do here in Colorado. Governor Romney got 61% of the vote here in 4 years. Just imagine what would happen if all that changed this time around. Right? So here's your charge. Your charge is to go out and talk to folks here in the next 24 hours. Caucus tomorrow night. Go out, if you haven't signed up for the caucus, you can sign up for them online, show up to the caucus, bring friends, bring people there, and talk to them about a candidate who understands what's at stake in this country right now. Who understands this is not just an election about jobs and the economy. We saw the reports this past week. I don't think the economy, frankly, if you look at all the numbers and all the things, I don't think the economy is going to get that much better, unfortunately. I don't think unemployment's going to improve that much, but it might. We can't have a candidate who's a single issue candidate. It's going to be dependent upon how many jobs are created between now and then. We have to have a candidate who has a much broader appeal. Someone who talks about big things, talks about things that are important to people, irrespective of what the unemployment number is. We're not hiring a CEO for this country. We're hiring a leader who can be a commander-in-chief, who can be a